wonderful, safe building while we listen to the rain. We are experiencing one spirit, one life, right here where we are. And the I of whom I speak is you when I say I am one with this spirit, one with this love. I am a point of love in the mind of God, right here, right where I am. And I know that this love that is nourishing the earth and is flowing in and around and through each of us is right where I am. I am love. I attract love into my life because I give love and I receive love. And I know the divine presence brings together those people that are meant to be together to manifest even greater love on this planet. I have a consciousness of love. I am worthy, so I receive love and give love. I attract into my life many, many friends. I am friendly. So I'm so blessed. Blessed by all the people in my life. Blessed by this rain that is here today for us. Blessed by everyone in this fellowship called Center for Spiritual Living, Carlsbad. So for this I give great gratitude and I release my word knowing it is acted upon as I have spoken it. I know this is so. Together we say, so it is. So welcome, welcome. It's good to see. I know we have a small group today, but it's great to see everyone who ventured forward. And you know, it's kind of the joke. Californians say, well, whatever happens, we need the rain. So whatever happens, we need the rain. So I'm grateful for that. So I'd like to start off with I think you all know me, Reverend Maureen, yes? And just want to mention that we believe there's a power for good in the universe. We can use it. And we come together to teach and demonstrate and inspire a positive spiritual approach to living. So, do we do another song right now? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Lucille is ready.
Lucille.
You betcha. Great to be here. Okay. Sing along if you want. Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that pitter-pat? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the rain with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid, yes, because this rover has crossed over, and I know I can have lots of sense. I can be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. Why? Because this rover has crossed over, and I know
that was great. Now, Jan isn't here to do candle lighting. Would someone like to come up, volunteer? Ah,
All right.
thank you. Doing double duty today. Pat also brought these beautiful flowers. Aren't they gorgeous? Thank you, Pat. So we light these candles so we can remind ourselves of the underlying spirit of life and the divine unity in all of us. So we light a candle for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is our life right now. So please affirm and say with me, I am life. We light the candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us every time we make room for the Christ consciousness in our hearts and recognize our unity. We are points of love within the heart of God. So please affirm and say with me,
I am love.
We have a candle for light. The light of God is the presence and the power. We're always walking in the light. We radiate the light of God wherever we go. So please affirm and say with me, I am light. Next we have we light a candle for beauty. We're made in the likeness and the image of God. We are each whole, complete, and beautiful, just the way we are. We accept the beauty of God's perfection as our perfection right now. So please affirm and say with me, I am beauty. We light a candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each of us. We celebrate the joy of our own rebirth in God consciousness. We each bring joy to the world. So please affirm and say with me, I am joy. We light the candle for peace. Today and every day we open our hearts to peace. We are each a center of peace in the world. So please affirm and say with me, I am peace. Thank you. So finally, I invite you to take a moment to recognize your own inner light that is always shining, and take a moment to honor our own metaphysical path, a path of wholeness, oneness, and mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you. Thank you, Pat. So, announcements. Well, today's Potluck Sunday. Yeah. So don't worry if you didn't bring something. We have plenty of food out there. It will be great. And in your bulletin, in the inside cover, says what's happening. Next week, I'm going to be doing a short visioning workshop. So I need you to bring your intentions, an intention or a vision or something you want to manifest in your life. And I'll do a series of questions that I learned at the conference in Mexico 2 weeks ago. So bring your intention, not a long workshop. These things, you ask a question, you should immediately write down an answer. You don't dwell on it. So that's the kind of visioning that we will do. Let's see, what else do we have? Every Sunday we have spiritual mind treatments available for you. And show of hand, Reverend Kate, myself, Robert, we're here for you after the service if you'd like a treatment. We have a treatment box. You can put it on a piece of paper and it'll be circulated among us and other ministers and practitioners if there's something you need prayer treatment for. And it's okay if you didn't manifest what it was that you requested, request again. It's fine. So, what else? I think that's it as far as any other announcements. And, today we are going to talk after the work, the potluck. We are going to meet with volunteers just briefly. We have some phone numbers or emails to give out. So the volunteers, because Ruth Ann wants the volunteers to work more closely with each other, do some outside activities. I think it helps to have emails, and then we can organize. Okay, again, I want to thank you to Pat Zagwin for the flowers. Aren't these gorgeous? Ooh. I see a little ant. And I want to thank Jim and Jan for the setup of the bookstore, and Robert for being today's greeter, and the video recorder. Thank you, Robert. And to Angel, who's not here right now, for setting up. Thank you, Angel. So in your program, there's a group reading. So let's do our group reading. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. So it is. So it's time for our group song. If you'd like to stand.
Great. And if you don't feel like standing, that's fine too. Yeah. Hey, we're going to do the Hokey Pokey, one of the greatest songs around. And Lisa Stewart, a student from a long time ago of Reverend Jane, right? And then she went to North Carolina and now is
She's
Milwaukee.
in Milwaukee.
And has a church there. She changed these words. And does everybody have the words to it? And Conrad, you got it, and everyone. Okay. And so maybe while I go to the piano, just take a look at them, because they are different from the regular Hokey Pokey, where we put our, and we'll do it. And if you want to
Turn yourself around.
feel free, because we literally are turning ourselves around in the science of mind, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, here we go. I put my prayer treatment in, I toss my old beliefs out, I commit to the action that will bring it all about. I do some meditation and turn my life around. That's what it's all about. Clap if you want. Okay? You do the hokey pokey. You do the hokey pokey. You do God's hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Clap. Okay. Second verse. I put my whole heart in. I throw my inner critic out. I release all the stuff I've been whining all about. I do some acts of kindness, expand my gratitude. That's what it's all about. You do the hokey pokey. You do the hokey pokey. You do God's hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. How about the chorus again? You do the hokey pokey. You do the hokey pokey. You do the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
Well, this is our time for our inspiration. Jim Maskus, he'll give today's reading. Yay, Jim.
Now I get to do it with my new glasses, so I should be able to actually read this. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Let's say again, I'm doing this with my new glasses, so see if I can actually read this. Today's reading by Reverend Dr. Ron Fox is taken from this month's Science of Mind magazine. I saw a story about a man who falls into a hole he cannot get out of. A clergyman walks by and the man calls out to him. So the clergyman throws down a prayer. A doctor walks by and once again the man calls out. So the doctor throws down a prescription. Finally, a friend walks by and the man calls out to him and the friend jumps in with him. The man says, "Why did you do that? Now we're both stuck down here." His friend replies, "Yes, but I've been here before and I know the way out." That is a true friend. This anonymous quote may explain your journey is not the same as mine, and my journey is not yours. But if we meet on a certain path, may we encourage each other. Jesus taught that we are all brothers and sisters. We must accept one another and let go of all judgments. He taught that we must love our neighbors as ourselves. When we feel accepted, we feel as if we belong. Desmond Tutu tells us we don't get close to each other just in the good times. The painful times bring us closer together. That is why spiritual community is vital. This is a place where we can be supported in the good and difficult times, a place where we can be accepted for who we are. This provides a safe space for us to be who we are, and I believe that is something we all need and want. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, "We are all leaves in one tree. We are all waves in one sea." So let's affirm together that in this moment, I open my heart to those around me. I remember we are all one, and I release all judgment. I let love lead the way.
Thank you, Jim. That's a very good reading. And we have one more song.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Yes, love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, hold it tight and you won't have any. Let it, spend it, you'll have so many that roll all over the floor. Money's dandy and we like to use it, but love is better, you don't refuse it. It's a treasure and you'll never lose it unless you lock up your door. It's just like a magic penny, hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, give it away, you'll end up having more. give it away. Yes, love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. You end up having more. You end up having so much more.
Thank you, Lucille, thank you. And now's the time for our main talk, and it's my pleasure to introduce Reverend Kate DuVivier. So give her a hand.
We actually thought about canceling yesterday. And then it's a little hard to do, and then maybe it wouldn't be that rainy yet, and so our short volunteer meeting is going to be kind of working on a telephone tree. So that's kind of the goal there. Both because some of the volunteers want to do some field trips together, but also because we realized maybe sometime we won't want to cancel. It'd be nice to have a telephone tree. So it's going to be very short. We can even take care of it while we're having our potluck. So my topic that I thought about quite a while ago was be a friend. And when it's rainy and stormy and you wonder what's going to happen, you kind of rely on your friends, on those close to you. I know that friends really matter. And so it's so nice that we were able to be here together. So I want to thank you all for being able to come and coming together. And I also want to acknowledge and have us realize that we have some people who usually come who, for different reasons, decided to be prudent and stay at home, and that's really good too. So as we experience our rainy morning and all of our, I'm sure we've all been watching the weather report and seeing news, let's just bring into our minds those people who have had really, really challenging circumstances. People who live in Maui, and I know Reverend Maureen has family there. People who live in Canada who are fleeing the fires up there. Really people throughout the world who are having real challenges. So our challenge, in a way, can allow us to recognize that we're all in this together. We're experiencing different things at different times, but it really is a small world. And we are really more closely connected than we even realize. So I'm just so grateful to be here now. And from my point, I get to enjoy looking out at your friendly faces. So I have been thinking, not just about my topic, but before I thought about my topic, I have been thinking about friendship lately. And I think for me, it's kind of felt like an aftermath of the pandemic, that I realized that I had slipped into a pattern of staying home a lot more than before. And so I was just kind of thinking, well, I really need to get out more. And of course, I thought it was just me, right? Like I'm the only one who's done this. But then recently I read a letter to an advice column. And it really hit home for me because it made me realize that it's not just me. This letter was entitled, "Help, I have a sneaking suspicion that none of my friends like me." And the author was not an introvert. I'm kind of an introvert. No, the author was someone who was an extrovert, who had always been an extrovert, a really friendly person. And from his point of view, and he explained, well, he had been busy with his family raising teenagers, and I know what that's like. That's, that's hard. Well, let's say it's time consuming. And then came the pandemic, and then he did feel more cut off, but then afterwards, being a friendly guy, he started reaching out to his friends, trying to reconnect. But he's finding he's having some unexpected trouble doing it. He said when he calls or texts friends, they always sound glad to hear from him, but then they never call or text him. Or if he invites someone to meet for lunch or coffee or to go to a ball game with him, they always say yes and seem happy to be together, but they never reciprocate with an invitation to him. And having this happen over and over is making him feel like he's not very important to these other people that he has been thinking of as friends. It's hurting his feelings and making him lose confidence. So he wrote, "This is all hurting not only my confidence, but also my feelings. I feel like I am generally not important enough for these people to even remember to check in with me, or I feel like maybe I'm just a friend of convenience, as in a fine person to spend time with, but as long as there's not much effort involved. And it makes me feel like I am imposing on these people, and that I'm generally friendless, and worst of all, that if I didn't make the effort to contact them, then any they would just go on with their lives and I would never hear from them again. Any advice?" He writes, "Any advice on how I should deal with my feelings? In how could I have friendships that are more reciprocal?" So he signed it, "Call me maybe." So the thing that really struck me about this letter was that it came from a friendly, outgoing person who is having some doubts. And I thought, wow, if an extrovert feels this way, then that means my feelings of disconnection are real and not just mine alone. Maybe other people are having them too, but I'm not the only one who's been feeling more isolated than before and feeling like it is kind of hard to reconnect with people that used to be a more everyday part of my life. So I don't know, has anyone else felt that way lately? Maybe, maybe not. I know that some of you are very outgoing, so maybe you haven't experienced this. But being an introvert, the other thought I had was like, uh-oh, if the extroverts are feeling like they're not going to make the call, then who's going to call me? Does that mean I have to make a call? You know, it's not my normal habit. I'm usually like, yes, I'll come. I'm one of those people. So the other interesting thing, because I said this was an advice column and he asked for advice, and he got some answers back. And this really surprised me. Emma said, "I'm having the same problem. I feel the same way." Andy said, "I'm an extrovert and I feel the same way." Nicole said, "I'm experiencing the same thing and maybe you could try setting up a weekly coffee." And somebody else wrote, "That's how life is. I have a friend who set up a horseshoe club and that helped." So it really struck me, because usually in an advice column, they just tell you what to do, right? They give you advice. And instead they were like, oh, this resonates with me. So these 4 people that answered all basically agreed with the writer and said they were having the same issues. And so I was wondering, why does it seem harder for so many people to feel like they have friends these days? I mean, here at our center, it's a really friendly place. Everyone who comes every Sunday, you know, I think we really feel connected. But there are many people who used to come who don't come. And there are many people who come less often than they used to come. And I don't take it personally at all. I know life is complicated, things change. But there's just something about this time period that calls for us to pay attention. So what could be going on? Well, you know, people have a lot of opinions. Some people say maybe we're less connected to each other because of all the disrespectful rhetoric that goes on publicly or social media or the news. There's a lot of disagreement right now about things from vaccines to vegetarianism to beer drinking to Disney World to what to do about problems like immigration or homelessness or whatever. And even within families, there are disagreements about who to vote for or what opinions to have that have become so pronounced that people who used to just like disagree, shrug their shoulders and go on and enjoy their time together, now it seems like sometimes they feel quite uncomfortable with each other. Possible. Or, of course, there have been hurdles, and people are always facing hurdles. There have been some real changes. You know, people do move. A lot of people lost their jobs, got new jobs, started remote work, moved out of the area, moved into the area, retired. Congratulations, Lucille, on your happy retirement. Speaking of retirement, Lucille's been a music teacher for many years, and we're excited for her. Yeah. But it's not just your own changes, right? Because if your best friend moves away, that's a change too. You're still where you were, but you might be feeling a little lost, and it can be hard sometimes to move in to replace that person. Well, and then there's the pandemic, right? So the pandemic is officially over, but maybe that was kind of the final straw that nudged a lot of people into more of a feeling of disconnection and isolation. And some habits have lingered on for some people. You know, so when I was at the grocery store yesterday, there's still people who are wearing masks, and probably for good reason, right? There's nothing wrong with it. But I have to say, before the pandemic, I never really thought much about germs at social gatherings. You know, I was more concerned about how long someone had left the mayonnaise out than whether I was going to catch anything from another person. But now, you know, I mean, for me, one reason why it was easy to come back here on Sundays is because the room is very big and spacious. You know, so it was an easy beginning place to come back to compared to, you know, some of the restaurants that I enjoy where you feel like you're a little bit on top of each other. So, you know, you can read about the trauma of the pandemic and the psychological factors that affect what they call social cohesion, really our connectedness from the influence of social media, you know, and that influence of either being under a steady stream of negative news or just like turning it all off, not wanting to participate. You know, and you can also go online and they have all kinds of tips now. I don't remember this being the case like 5 or 6 years ago, but now there are many articles about how to make friends, how to get connected, you know, and they have ideas like have a positive, open attitude, don't take it personally, be patient, ask people questions about themselves, be compassionate, don't gossip, don't criticize, join a club, volunteer. This is much more prevalent than it was a few years ago. And they're all excellent, practical, wise ideas. And you probably already knew every single one of them, right? But I have to say, and this is what I was thinking about, what does our teaching have to say about friendship and feelings of loneliness? Do we have any light that we can shed on this, this feeling? Because in reality, probably a lot of us have some negative ideas that are influencing our ability to connect with friends or make new friends easily, or as easily as we used to. So I just want to invite you, if you do, and maybe just if you know someone who is, it's helpful to think about it for them. Just take a look at some of these ideas and see if we need to release any of them. For instance, do you have any limiting ideas about needing to be or look or act a certain way in order to be acceptable to your friends? If you do, where did those ideas come from? Or do you perhaps have certain ideas about who you want to choose to be friends with? What kind of standards they have to live up to? Are you screening people a little heavily, perhaps? Where did those ideas come from? Well, I think that these ideas don't really come from our heart. These ideas come from our history, our individual history, our cultural history, our family history. Maybe like me, you attended a high school with a lot of little cliques, right? Where moving from one lunch table to another wasn't really that easy to do. You had to stay at your table, and people at that table had this kind of hair, and people at that table wore this kind of shoes. I mean, it happens. That's an experience that you may have had, or something like that. Or maybe these ideas, these limiting ideas just got passed along to you consciously or unconsciously. Maybe your parents aspired you to be more successful than they were, to hang out with more successful people, or had aspirations for you that were a little bit pushing you, but also limiting you at the same time. Well, once you become aware of these ideas, just seeing them, they usually can just dissolve on their own. Because once you see something, you see through it. If they don't dissolve on your own, and if you're kind of struggling with it, then you can use some tools like affirmations. The simplest thing is to affirm, I am enough. To know that everyone is perfect, whole, and complete. To just affirm that you are okay and they are okay. Right? There was the name of a book, I'm okay, you're okay, something like that. I mean, it's a good statement. And this doesn't mean that you have to be friends with everyone else. It just allows you to see other people as they are. Another spiritual being having a human experience of their own, and then let them be. The spiritual truth about us is really not that different from what Mr. Rogers used to say at the end of his children's shows. He would say, you always make every day a special day. You know how? Just by being you, yourself. There's only one person in the whole world that's like you, and that's you. And people can like you just exactly the way you are. You know, introverted, extroverted, tall, short, whatever. Young, old, all the different forms that we come in are actually beautiful when you stop and think about it. See, the deep reality is that from a spiritual point of view, friendship is actually a manifestation of love. And love is the creative power of life. Love is a self-givingness of the spirit through the desire of life to express itself in forms of creation. Emerson said, love is a synonym for God. The New Testament says, God is love. And our founder, Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, wrote, love is free from condemnation, even as it is free from fear. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. See, actually, friendship is far more than a method of not being alone. Friendship is far more than just an alternative to watching a movie by yourself or going out for a walk or reading a book. A friendship is actually a way in which we make a connection with our source, with spirit, by the simple act of recognizing that self-same source, spirit, in another person. When we are united in spirit, or when we realize we are united in spirit, because we're always united in spirit, right? So when we realize that we're united in spirit through the experience of having a friend, being a friend, or just being friendly to a friendly, even if we're not close friends, just having a friendly attitude. You know, when you're waiting in line, it's just a friendly emanation that goes forth, you know. Friendship is an avenue. It is an avenue for us to express and share joy. Actually, no matter what is happening, friendship is an expression of joy in hard times as well as in good times. Friendship keeps us centered in the truth. So if you have a friend, perhaps a friend who's in the hospital, your friendship in those times is a connection that brings good to both of you, right? So actually, I think this is interesting. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, and his wife, Hazel, were apparently extremely friendly people. They loved people, they entertained a lot, they liked to have barbecues in their yard, they cared about people. And yet, at the same time, one of the most striking quotes I ever heard from Ernest Holmes, he gave advice to just love people and then leave them alone. Love them and leave them alone. He didn't mean don't bother to invite them to your picnic or like that. What he meant was let them be them. Let them be themselves. And of course, this means in order to do that, you have to be yourself too, right? This advice, love people and let them be themselves, kind of strips out all of that need to, that feeling that you need to get other people to be like you in order to have them as friends. Really, it strips out the need to even worry much about whether people like you. I mean, you don't want to be obnoxious, but you don't need to worry about it. Just let them be. And know with absolute certainty through natural laws, what we call the law of attraction, you will be able to attract wonderful friends and experiences once you stop worrying about yourself and start accepting yourself as you are. Now, Jesus taught that it is done to us as we believe, so why not believe in your own kind-heartedness, your own friendliness, and get the ball rolling in your own heart? Usually we think about spiritual practices as being like meditation or affirmative prayer or studying textbooks as ways to make a connection with our inner light. But in a different way, it's really true about being a friend also. The truth is that as you begin to feel a friendly feeling, you also begin to feel a sense of peace within yourself. That peaceful vibration sets your mind at ease and generates a feeling of peace and contentment that must bring about kind of a calm sense of basic happiness, contentment, that then in turn actually enhances your feeling of friendship towards others. So you might have heard the saying, a friend in need is a friend indeed, someone who is there for you when the chips are down, just like you will be, or like you have been in the past for them. You know, that's what friends can do for each other. And yet, friendly relationships can also be very light and easy, and that can be enough too. It's fine to just have friendly acquaintances. Everyone doesn't have to be your soulmate in order to be a friend. So meeting for coffee is nice, and it is enough. Coming here on Sunday morning is nice, and it is enough. Joining a club or class or inviting someone to have lunch with you, it's all nice and it's enough. It's something good in and of itself. Just those actions are enough. And it is enough because you are enough. Once you understand that, you can relax. You can relax in social settings. You can relax about whether other people like you or not. You can relax and just feel free to make that phone call, to send that text message, to write a note, and to say yes to invitations that interest you, and no if you don't want to go. You just feel free. There's not that feeling of pressure about it. You just begin to feel more comfortable with other people and willing to express, to invite, and willing to allow other people to reach out to you also. So, you know, we just can say yes or no and accept that other people have the right to say yes or no without feeling that it has any deep meaning. You know, it's not like the letter to the editor-writer. You know, it's not that just because someone didn't call you, it means they don't like you. It could mean they're on vacation, or they're busy, or they're all tied up, or maybe they really could use a friendly word from you. You don't know what their situation is. So today, a nice rainy day, is the perfect day to be a friend. It's the perfect day to take Ernest Holmes' advice to love everybody and let them be themselves. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the only way to have a friend is to be a friend. Henry David Thoreau said, the most I can do for my friend is to be a friend. And William Butler Yeats said, there are no strangers here, only friends you haven't yet met. So, let's start today. Let's be a friend and stay for potluck, and we'll enjoy each other's company. So now, I'd like to turn it over to Lucille. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Katie. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I see the invisible. The sky. The sky is the limit to what I can have. The sky is the limit to what I can have. If I believe and receive it, I can have it today. Hey, if I believe and receive it, I can have it today. I expect a miracle every day. I will make a way out of no way. I expect a miracle every day. I will make a way out of no way. I will make a miracle every day. I will make a way out of no way. If I believe and receive it, I can have it today. Hey, if I believe and receive it, I can have it today. I'm looking for a miracle. Sing it with me. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I see the invisible. I'm looking for a miracle. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I see the invisible. The sky. The sky is the limit to what I can have. Say it again. The sky. The sky is the limit to what I can have. If I believe and receive it, I can have it. If I believe and receive it, I can have it today. Hey, hey, say, if I believe and receive it, I can have it today. Everybody say yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it's our time to take up a collection to support our center. And in your program, it has our Venmo address if you prefer that, and our mailing address if you prefer that. And I know Jen has the ability to take credit cards out in the lobby also. So let's just know right now that we are in the flow of good. This good that we call spirit is everything. There is nothing that is not spirit. Spirit is life itself unfolding, and that this center is an idea in the mind of God itself, which also grows and flourishes through the love and support of everyone connected with it. I know this is so, and I know this good that is the center brings more good into our community. that it flows out just as easily as it flows in. So I give thanks for all the good now unfolding for our center. I let go, I let God, and invite you to join me in saying, and so it is.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so
So I'd like to end our service with a spiritual mind treatment and invite you to just know along with me, to the extent you choose, this truth that we live in a spiritual universe, that each of us is an individualization of spirit itself, that we are united in spirit, and yet each one of us is unique, is perfect, is complete in and of ourselves. We are a center of love, intelligence, and joy in a universe full of love, intelligence, and joy. And I claim on behalf of each and every person here today, and each and every person with whom we are connected, and on behalf of our community, that this day turns out to be a day of good. That any storm passing through our lives, whether in the natural world or in our internal world, passes by smoothly, in the highest and best way, leaving good in its wake, the minimum of disruption. And any change that we see as a possibility for our good, we are able to embrace, that we are protected by the love of spirit itself, that we are guided through the storm safely and lovingly. There is good for us, and I claim it right now. And I know that spirit responds instantly. Yes, there is good. Yes, I give thanks. It is so. Yes, I know it is done, and I invite you to release it with me by saying, and so it is. Thanks, everyone. So.